Okay, so we are DIY Con. It's 6 o'clock here at East Coast time, and we are going to be joined by Nancye Good from Earth Living Skills coming up right now. I'm putting my paints away because I was just painting my funny little gnome behind me. Oh my gosh, you are here. Let me put this all away while I say hello to you and get out my box of project for making a bow and arrow. I'm excited. I've never done this before. This is totally new. And I can't say that about a lot of projects.
Can you hear me?
Too. Oh yeah, can you hear me?
I can.
Awesome. Now, is your guitar wearing a fur coat?
It's a ghillie suit.
That is so cool. So Nancye Good is from Earth Living Skills. You can find them online. I don't think you guys are really on a lot of social media though yet.
No.
Is that true?
Yeah, we're into really old technology, so
like talking to people?
Like making fire. Yeah, like talking to people, smoke signals, you know.
Like the old technology of actually having human interactions. I was thinking about that too. I was like, gosh, it's weird that they're not on social. And then it dawned on me, well, that makes sense because you guys are all about, you know, getting in touch with the earth. And okay, so let me see if I have everything. You sent a list and it's on our website too. Okay. I have foam.
Awesome.
I have artificial, can I show it down here?
That looks good, yes. I have a big roll too.
This is to wrap around the arrow. Is that right?
The artificial sinew we're actually going to use for the bowstring.
Okay. This is how much I don't know about this. I'm so excited. I love not knowing things. And then I have, you asked me to get these. Did I get the right kinds?
I think
sizes?
so. Yeah, there's not really any way to know until you start bending it, and then if it works, it works. There was actually in gathering these, we like to tell kids because you're harvesting from a live tree that you want to really do it in a caretaking manner, which means if two trees are growing kind of close together and one looks like it's kind of getting crowded and maybe it doesn't look so healthy, then you want to take that one that maybe doesn't look so healthy so that the healthy one has more room to grow. And, you know, it's just kind of a lesson about harvesting because we're taking live wood from a live tree. But if you caretake and give more room to grow, then the forest is going to be better than it was before and you still get what you need.
I love that. That is such a really good point, is to not just go wherever you are. If you're going to your backyard or if you're going, you know, hiking, is to be mindful about what you're doing and not just start taking whatever that you find and ripping apart trees.
Yeah, it's important. Yeah.
And I don't even really think about that because I grew up, I was a Girl Scout for many years. And so some of those sort of things about nature and are ingrained inside of me through experiences of camping and all the stuff that you have to do to earn badges. So thinking about it from like iPad land, it's totally
So
okay, what's the first step? How do we get started?
Sure,
and if you guys you're curious, you have to go to Earth Living Skills and find out more about the workshops that Nancye and everyone do to teach all of us how to do these awesome projects. Okay.
So pick one that feels right to you. And
the bigger one, the smaller one.
The smaller one will take less time to make, so it's up to you.
Okay, I'm gonna do the smaller one because this is my first time.
Sure.
I always go big and then I'll get frustrated.
That does happen, yes. So now just try bending it. I did start to carve this one a little bit, so it's bending a little bit, but just make sure you don't want to like put your knee in the middle and bend it. You just bend it holding the ends and use your arm strength to see how it's bending when you haven't cut anything at all yet.
So mine is not very bendy.
Okay.
So I need to make slits in it so that it will bend.
Well, we're gonna just carve, and it's like a real bow. If you were gonna make a real bow, it's the same principle in that you're carving where you want it to bend more. So this one, for example, I need it to bend over here a little bit more. So I'm gonna carve on what is called the belly of the bow, and the belly is what is going to be facing you.
Okay.
Can you see? Oh yeah. So you're just carving, taking off little pieces, using really good knife safety. We teach kids really good knife safety lessons. And you want to keep testing it after you've cut some off, because you don't want to cut too much off, because then you get what's called a hinge. And see, already it's bending a little bit more, so I probably don't want to cut any more right here, but maybe on this side.
So how much does it want to bend? How, like, what's the arc that I'm looking for?
It's kind of up to you. You know, it's you want it to be strong, so you don't want to be pulling back on the string and have it snap. So you don't want, you just want it to bend evenly in a nice arc. And even if it doesn't bend that much, you can still shoot an arrow. The most important thing is to have it bend evenly. And these are quickie bows, so they don't last forever, although sometimes they do last a really long time. And the beautiful thing is you can just make them if you're out for a walk and you have a knife, or you could make a stone knife, I guess. And you can just make them and have this really fun thing that you can play with.
And I like your point about having really good knife skills, because understanding how to be safe and always cutting away from you, don't cut towards you.
Yes, exactly. And if you're in a big group, you want to make sure that everybody's blood bubble is being protected.
Blood bubble?
So you tell the kids, if they're in a big group, that they check the area around them so that there's nobody inside their blood bubble.
Oh, that's a really good point. I've never heard of that expression before. I'm totally going to be using that from now on. So I'm carving away at this.
Yes.
To make it so it's bendy. I'm not doing an awesome job because it's not that bendy.
It looks good. It looks like a little bit more on your left. Yes, exactly.
You can make this any size, is what you were saying. You can make a little one, or depending on the.
In fact, sometimes, you know, kids can get carried away and their bow will break, or maybe they didn't use a good kind of wood or something. And if they only have a little bit of time left to do the project, you end up with a smaller and smaller stick, but it will still totally work. And a lot of people start with these big, massive sticks, and then it's just going to be too much work. And so they, you know, downsize. The belly of my bow is getting, is kind of evolving, sort of wrapping around the way the stick twists, but it'll still work. It'll work really well, actually.
Okay, this is not bending very much on this side for me.
Yep, just keep cutting a little bit and then testing it, getting shavings everywhere.
I think that is really important too, is to shave away at it instead of, like, it's pretty, mine's pretty good there, but then it's like not so good.
Yeah, mine's getting kind of close. I think I'm going to cut a little more on this side, and then I'll probably be ready to put the string on.
I guess I could cheat and make it shorter, huh? Because like that part's good, that part not so good.
It always looks better the longer the bow, and if it doesn't bend completely evenly, it'll probably still work.
Okay. I will keep working. I like this is something you can do when you're going on a hike with your family, because like you always want to stop and have something to eat or drink and hang out a little bit. And my dad always used to do this thing with grass, and he'd do the grass, like the duck noises with the grass. Yeah. And this is like another thing to do while you're just sort of sitting around. It's not an option that a lot of people take very often, is sitting around outside in nature and then thinking about what you could do with what's just there with you. Like
It's true, yeah. We did it one winter. We were at our friend's house, and we went outside and cut some sticks, and the kids had all these different things that they could have played with, but they ended up just playing with these Quickie bows for almost the whole weekend. It was great.
That's really good. And I'm kind of a girly girl. When I was little, I used to make like jewelry out of like flowers and stuff, you know, making chains of them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Girls shoot arrows too.
They do. Totally do. But I would do both probably. I like to build things. I don't mind getting messy. I also like jewelry and skirts and high heels. So basically I like everything. Is that wrong?
No, that's the variety is what the spice of life, right?
I guess. I think it's fun to like things. Okay, I'm making some progress here. I'm very excited. This is my first experience. I've never done this before.
Depending on the kind of wood, sometimes it'll start bending all of a sudden, and that's when you need to be careful to not cut too much. I think mine is pretty good.
I'm almost there. I just have this end. I'm always fascinated what people can make with just a branch or a stick, because I had a friend who used to be able to whittle. I was always fascinated with the little creations he's able to make with just a little piece of wood. His knives are pretty amazing.
Whittling is it's so meditative, you know. You can just pick up a stick from anywhere and just really get into figuring out all the possibilities that are in the stick.
Cool. I'm so excited. I might actually have to glitter mine. Is that okay?
That's a great idea. Especially the arrow, yeah.
Well, yeah. I dressed up as an angel for Halloween, so I might have to get my costume out. And
oh, there you go.
I could be like I could be holiday cards. What's that? Oh, she's dressed up like, what? Wrong holiday. Not that I holiday. All right, I think I might be pretty good. This end
looks pretty good, yeah.
But this is good.
Yeah, that looks really good.
All right, so now what is the next step? I will put my knife away so I don't.
So the next step is we'll take our artificial sinew.
Okay.
And I'm going to check the clock. Oh, we probably don't have time to make cordage. Cordage is, let me find this other bow. It's when you make rope. I don't know, you probably can't tell, but it's twisted, and it's really a nice way to make your bowstring. It takes a lot, kind of a lot of time, so we'll just use one strand of artificial sinew, but it is nice if you make your bowstring into cordage. See if I can.
So do you have something somewhere, or show me real quick what you mean by cordage? Is it like braiding?
It's not braiding, it's twisting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I could demonstrate real fast, although.
Let's make this first, and if you could show me that would be awesome. So now what do I do with the sinew? What do I do?
So first we're going to make a loop in one end. Just tie a knot with a loop. And sinew, real bows would have used real sinew from the legs of the animal.
Mm-hmm.
And this is artificial sinew, which is the next best thing. And then I have already in my bow, I've made a nock, which is where the string is going to lie. And I like to use a little saw to make my nock. You could also use a knife, but especially when I'm working with kids, I think it's just safer to use a saw. So usually I put it down, and using good saw safety, I've cut myself with a saw more than I have with a knife. You just make some little indentations where the string is going to lie on both ends. This one probably I could do a little bit more.
So it's just on one side.
On both ends, and I do both sides.
Oh, so are you making it on the inside where we were carving, or on the outside?
I'm making it on both sides. So it's on the side, and sometimes I go on the back as well. Can you see?
Okay. Got it.
You just don't want it to slip. It doesn't really matter how you do it.
Mm-hmm. This is awesome.
I'm not a purist. Some people get really purist about things, but as long as it works.
I like that. That makes it easier for people that have never done it like me, because I might get overwhelmed. The first time you try anything, it might be overwhelming.
And then also, if you don't have, a saw with you, you can just figure it out. You could rub it on the edge of a sharp rock or something, and
that's a good idea too.
Everything's falling. Okay.
So I'm using a utility knife, but one of the ones that has the snap offs, so it has a really long blade that pops out.
Nice.
Cutting into it. I feel more comfortable with a utility knife than I do a knife. I don't know why, I just do. Unless I was in the kitchen, then I would use it. Cutlery in there is fine.
Nice. Yeah, these are the knives that we usually use with the sheath. They're Swedish, and they work really well.
So for everyone who's watching, I had the pleasure of learning about Earth Living Skills at the Maker Faire, the World Maker Faire in New York. And since then, we've been trying to, I guess, kind of like learn a lot of different things from you guys about what you're making and doing. Because, we do a lot of DIY projects, and the whole maker movement is huge right now. And I love that. And I love connecting with people and making things and doing projects and learning and being inspired by other people. And the whole thing that you guys are doing is so at the core. It's essential to making everything, is thinking about nature and doing things from nature and being respectful and mindful too, especially when you're picking out the branches and the sticks that you're using, to not, to look at it in a way so you're not hurting a tree that's thriving. Okay, so I have notches. I hope that they're good.
Those look great, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we'll figure it out once we get the string on there, as long as it doesn't slip. So
okay, so the loop. So I made a loop, and it's like a slip, so I can make it as big as it needs to be.
Great.
Does it just go in a notch?
Yeah, put that into one of the nocks, and then what you're going to do on the other end is you're going to bend your bow, because you want it to be tight. So you're going to bend your bow kind of tight, and then you have to put the string in while the bow is bent.
Okay.
And then I like to wrap it around a couple times. I probably some purists would be horrified, but you know, I'm sure there's a really proper knot for doing this too, but I usually just do a double knot. So this side you want it to stay, and this side, if you're going to unstring your bow, you can just take this loop down, because when you're storing this, you actually want to unstring it so it doesn't lose its springiness.
Okay. I need to pull it a little bit more because it's not as...
I probably could have tightened mine a little bit more, but it'll work just fine like this. So there's a bow.
This is awesome. I can't believe I'm making my first bow. I can see space there. Now can I like wrapping it around and then tying it part?
So when you bend it, yeah, I like to brace it against my leg or my foot, and then really, it's depending on the bow, you're going to have to really push it. Or if there's two people, it's helpful to have them pull the stick out while you tie on the top.
Yeah, because, okay, I think I might have figured out sort of, okay, there is a bend to it.
Nice. Beautiful.
All right, I'm psyched. I'm going to totally show my 7-year-old Jack.
Your kids are going to be excited.
Like crazy because he's into all this stuff right now.
Yeah, my son is 13 and we've been playing Quickie Capture the Flag with, groups of kids, and it is so exciting.
Okay. That sounds really fun. Okay. So I'm just tying it a couple of times just to make sure I have an epic fail. Okay. So I've got my style.
Looks good. Looks good.
Now
so
what do I
move right along to making our arrow, which is pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
So this one I usually just use a dead stick because it doesn't need to be green. It doesn't need to be bendy. So you don't hurt any trees for it. And then you take your foam and cut just whatever kind of arrow shape you want. Something that looks kind of pointy and fierce. And my foam I can just cut with my knife like this.
I've got my like multi-use Fisker scissors.
Nice.
Because I have this, it's like I use this for upholstery, this foam. So this is a cutoff from something else. These can be really frustrating. So I'm looking for some kind of like triangular prism-ish shape.
Yes.
Okay.
Something that looks fierce and intimidating.
That's not really how I roll usually. I need to have the classes on how to be fierce and intimidating.
Oh, I'm sure once you get started, you would find your inner fierce and intimidating Teresa.
Let's start like doing some kind of tribal yelling. I'm not that great at cutting this into I guess this is sort of a sad triangle.
That looks fine.
Okay.
So then I'm not sure. It looks like the same kind of foam I have, but I usually just twist my stick in a little bit because you don't want it to come through and impale your friends. And then you bust out your duct tape. And just make sure that foam tip is on there. And if I have a group of kids, I like to just double check, make sure everybody's safely padded.
Tape, where are you? I'd say, can I borrow a piece of tape? But I think that's gonna work. Oh, here we go. It's in my little box next to me the whole time. Okay, so make a bow and arrow. So how much tape do I need to wrap it around?
About 6 inches-ish.
Okay, I have way more than that. So it's around the end of it? Or the whole
Right, just sort of under, it really just keeps it on there on the stick somehow.
Okay. So kind of a little bit like this. Mine is a tiny little. I should have made a bigger one. Next time I will make a bigger piece of foam.
As long as the stick doesn't come through, it's fine.
No, I think I'm good with that part. I will not hurt people.
That is what we want.
Oh, this is awesome. Okay. Yay! Look at that. That looks pretty cool.
That's great. Now our final step is to saw in the back end of your arrow. We're going to make a slit for the bowstring to go into. Again, using really good saw safety. So I'm actually going to stand up here because I like to not cut my hand off.
Yeah, that's a good feature.
Oops, I almost cut my hand off.
So we need a notch that's big enough for let's move back. And we are just about out of time. I know that Craft is showing up to do a project. I'm psyched to do. We're making jewelry.
Nice.
I know.
From one extreme to another.
I know. That's the thing about, I'm having an awesome time here because
this is a long time for you. I was like, wow.
Well, I'm having an awesome time. I was like, oh, I'm going to have to take a break. I'm going to have to go to the bathroom. I haven't even left at all except to get stuff because I am such a DIY geek. I like making stuff. It doesn't matter if it's this or I'm crocheting something or painting or anything. I just, the being able to make stuff with your hands and having the skills to do it is so cool.
Yeah, it's really fun to see all the different ideas people are having.
And they're all, it's just like this. Like, this sounds like it would be really hard to do. Make a bow and arrow. What do you mean? How do you do that? And literally, we've been doing this for less than a half hour. And you're done, of course, because you're the expert. And I'm almost done. Maybe if I wasn't chitter-chattering, I'd be done too.
No, you are making a very nice knock. Your knock is going to be perfect.
Does it have to be all the way through? Can it be like on each side of the stick?
Whatever works is, you can just try it. It's the nicer your knock. See mine? You can see maybe the string is actually kind of fitting right into the knock.
Okay.
So that's basically what you want. As long as the string fits in there and you can shoot it, then it's good.
Oh yeah, it does fit in there.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, look at this. Check me out. Okay. So my arrow is like really long.
Your arrow is?
Isn't it? Doesn't it? Maybe not.
That's great because when you pull it back, you want it to, not. Sometimes if you make a really short arrow, it'll come back behind the bow stick, which would be bad.
Okay. So I'm gonna shoot it, but you're not gonna see where it's shooting. So when I shoot it, what are a couple of tips real quick?
Well, just see if it'll go forward. Pull it back, pull the string back with the arrow, and then let it go. Nice, that sounded really good.
It's totally good.
Nice.
That's so cool. Okay, I'm a little
awesome.
hesitant because I'm inside, but I'm gonna take this out in the morning and before school. I'm gonna totally look what mommy made.
There you go. And you can have all kinds of distance competitions and accuracy, make a little target, and you can shoot at each other, which is so much fun. You did it.
Bow and arrow. Thank you, Nancye Good.
You're welcome.
Yes.
I also had some flaming arrows if there's time, but maybe there's not time.
We don't. We have to bounce.
Next time.
Maybe next time, or you can send me instructions and I'll totally do a blog about it, and I'll do social networking for you.
All right. Well, this was really fun.
Thank you so much, Nancye. Thank you for taking time and for teaching me this and having patience too with me as a first-time bow and arrow maker.
Oh, you are welcome. It was really fun.
And I didn't have any artificial sinew, so I had to purchase this in order to do this project. I think this is the only thing that I had to buy so far today.
It's really good stuff to have, and some other time we can talk about the rope making too, because it's handy. It's good for making baskets too, and it's really strong for sewing.
Okay, I see possibilities all over the place. Thank you for opening up my mind to this. And thank you for the bow and arrow instruction. I can't wait to show my kid. I gotta say goodbye. And we are going to be joined by Crafty Chica up next. Thanks, Nancye. Earth Living Skills. You gotta get in nature and make stuff happen.